So what we have here is we have a vehicle inspection report for a 91 Mitsubishi Galant. It's a dual overhead cam and it's got the turbo system put in it and everything. Is all hopped up. It's hoopty-fied. But anyway, the problem that we have, hydrocarbons. What in the world are hydrocarbons? Well, let's just explain it in real simple terms. So you have to have your hydrocarbons and your carbon monoxide pass. The hydrocarbons is basically raw fuel. That's what you burn. You pump hydrocarbons into your tank when you fill your tank with gasoline. So for it to have that much deviation, both on the high-speed test and on the idle test, this thing's got some serious not burning issues. It's not burning it. And what do you have to have in order to have your car burn or run properly? You got to have good timing. You got to have good air-fuel mixture, you got to have good spark, and you have to have good compression. So those are the four basics, and that's what we're going to be diagnosing here today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the spark, because it has brand new spark plugs and brand new wires. So you see I've pulled cylinder number 3, and we've got a spark tester, and we've got it open to about, well, it's a big gap, you can see it. We'll have Spanky go ahead and start the car up. We'll see what our spark looks like and then we'll zoom in on it. So you can hear the spark, you can see the arc. So that's a pretty good strong spark. So we're going to try it on the other cylinders and just make sure that they're all sparking strong. Especially because this is not naturally aspirated, it's turbocharged. So we'll go through and try each of these. We're going to hook up an exhaust hose because I forgot, and we'll go from there. What do you think, Spanky? Is that a nice car? Yeah. Back in its day it was. I think it's pretty hurt now. So we'll go through and try some of these others. I think that our compression test is going to reveal and yield results, but we'll just have to see. There's a signature from cylinder number 2, cylinder number 1, cylinder number 4. So we've got real good strong spark on all of them. See it arc out to the side there. Did you see that? That's just because it's such a long gap. If I had a shorter one like what the spark plug has, it wouldn't be doing that. Ooh, that's a good one. That's below the boot, so that's okay. Go ahead and kill it. Now, as you saw when that was arcing against the strut tower, the strut mount at the top, if we had a leak like that in one of the spark plug wires on the timing cover because of heavy mineralization, you know, covered in minerals, everything's azation. It's like watching Phineas and Ferb and everything's a something-inator. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to pull the spark plug wires. We're going to make sure to keep the right order. I'm just going to paint pen on the top of them 1, 2, 3, 4 so we don't mess that up and ruin our diagnostic process by putting a wire on the wrong way. But we verified that spark is good. We're going to do some further homework on the spark plugs, check the porcelain to see if they're arcing anywhere, because that would cause the high hydrocarbons and it wouldn't burn because the spark plug wouldn't get the spark. And then when the spark plugs are out and we're inspecting them, we're going to run a compression test. That's what you see over here. It's a compression tester, and go from there. So he's got these all marked. We'll just throw them out. And while they're out, I'm going to clean the oil out of that because it's grossing me out. Just go in. Looks like it's going to be a 5/8. Fatty.
Did you call me fat?
So, but I was talking about the socket. Damn. Never say fat in the presence of a woman. They don't like that. So you wonder why this cover missing. This must be a race car. It must get a lot of service and saves on tear down to have an idiot hood missing. No, it's just busted out. It won't fit anymore. So as we do the compression test, we'll need to unplug the ignition coil. And on this one, the ignition coil is inside the ram horn of the intake. You'd think that they could mount it here in this big open space, but they've decided not to. Good job, Mitsubishi. In the 90s, I always thought Mitsubishis performed well. I always thought they looked cool. I was happy to do a timing belt job on them. But I always hated the way that they'd set things up. I hated their OBD1 system. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was a pain in the butt to work with, because it is. And also just the way that they put things together was always kind of annoying. Say Mitsubishi, they designed so many good components for so many different cars and sensors and everything, even to this day. But the way that they put it together as a total package can be a real pain. So one of the things that we're going to kind of look at as we're doing all of this is the air-fuel mixture. If he's got a vacuum leak somewhere, that can cause really high hydrocarbons. And this being in 1991 and being as old as it is, there's a high probability that he's got some vacuum leaks. So I'm looking here and I'm seeing a vacuum leak here on this hose where it's just torn out down the side. So we're going to need to replace that. I'm going to just let that one sit off to remind me. But let's kind of keep an eye on that in the meantime. So I've got all of these plugs loosened up. We'll pull them out gently because they're really cheap ones and don't have a steel end. Except clear down in there. No, they're not cheap, they're NGK. Weird. So this one, when I pull it out, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to read the plug. The way you read a plug, this one hasn't been in there real long, but you read the ground strap for how rich or how lean it is. This has a lean mark all the way down, like it's not getting enough fuel. So that's an interesting thing. So we'll set this one aside. I'm just going to set them in order. So that's cylinder 4. The next one that comes out, thanks Becky. So the next one that comes out is going to be cylinder 3. And it just doesn't want to come out. I'm going to grab it by the base. So cylinder 3, as I read that, it's perfect. What you want to have is you want it to be lean out to about the bend mark and then go dark. So cylinder 3 is getting the proper air-fuel mixture. Cylinder 4 is running a little bit too lean. Let's see what we've got on cylinder number 2. This is exciting. Getting some answers. So cylinder 2 is also too lean. You can see that it's light all the way back. You can see that it's starting to get dark just at the very base there. So we've got lean, perfect, and lean. Let's see what we've got on cylinder number 1. So we may be getting lean misfire. This one's also perfect. You can see how it's lean up to about right here and then it goes dark. So that's kind of an interesting pattern. We may have some restrictions in the injectors on cylinders number 2 and 4. So let's do a compression test.
Hey guys, you miss me? Okay, so I cleaned the oil off the top of this engine and I noticed that there are these little arrows, and I hadn't seen that before. I haven't worked on any Mitsubishis, and so I was asking Brian what they are, and he said it's the direction that the spark plug wires are supposed to go. So to see number 2 here, the arrows come down this way, so you have it come down like that, and then this one will come down the same way and it'll come along and clip in here, and that way they're not, you know, doing stuff like this. They'd be a lot prettier, and it reduces the chance for arcing.
Exactly. That's the main thing, is if they do arc, because this would have a cover over the top of it and you wouldn't even be able to see if it was arcing or not. So if you route them properly, it just makes it so that the vehicle runs that much better. You get all kinds of dust and crud, like see all the dust on the front of here. Once that settles onto the spark plug wires, it creates a lot more opportunity for them to fail. Isn't that fun? There's always a lawnmower or a garbage truck or something. So here's our diagnostic chart. Spanky, you want to explain what we're doing there?
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're going to do a compression test, and I'm going to write the results under the corresponding cylinders.
Right.
And we just marked whether they're lean or good, and they all have spark.
Good spark. Strong spark, yeah.
And then we'll have an area to do the timing.
Timing you don't do really per cylinder. You notice I didn't do the dashes for that. That's just to check to see if the timing marks are on. We're going to have to pull the top cover and look at the cams if we don't find anything with our compression test. I think we're going to find something with the compression test, because I bet this car's been race carred. And race cars have engine builders and all these people on their teams. And this just has a driver. So I'm thinking probably it's going to have low compression, but we'll just have to see. This will be fun. So if you want to take your battle station, I'll take mine.
Okay.
And we'll get some compression readings. Now I pulled out the fuse for the computer so that the spark is immobilized. There's no spark because you can't get to the plug on the coil without pulling the ignition or intake. Excuse me. All right, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You gotta hold that thing down in there. It's gonna pop out like
that. Like that? Okay.
So hold it down real good. Make sure you get 3 movements on the needle before you accept your reading.
Okay.
There's 4. So what does it say for the blue number?
100.
100 psi. That's low. We should be around 150, 160. Go ahead and go to the next hole, and looks like you got it released. Good job.
Yep.
Say when.
When?
Are you able to hold that down in the cylinder? I think we might be getting a little bit of a bump.
We'll try again.
Yeah. Let's do number 4 again.
Okay.
Just really lean down on the top of that to hold it in. And make sure that you're straight in so that shaft is centered in the hole. If you're leaning to one of the sides, it can cause a leak.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. That's better.
Oh, dang it. I was hitting the release button. I knew that.
That's a good learning moment.
Okay, sorry.
All right, let's try again. I can see it bumping just a little bit under the hood.
Okay, now it is...
Let's do that one more time.
110?
Yeah, see if you can really lean on it like we were before. And we'll try it again. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Sounds good. I'll take that number.
110.
110. That's better. See, we're getting a little bit of a bump, I think. Yeah, you got to be nice and centered in the hole, and you got to really hold it on 110 pounds worth, because that's what it's pushing up with. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Another nice thing about pulling the computer fuse to disable the spark is that we're not getting injections. We're not blowing hydrocarbon fumes up in Spanky's face with all those plugs being gone.
It's 120.
Okay. Awesome. I think we got low compression across the cylinder head and vacuum leaks. I think that's the problem.
Okay. Just micro shy of 120.
Let's put 119.
Okay. 121.
You need to be within a certain percentage of each other to not have a misfire code, especially on an OBD2 car. This being OBD1, we can get away with a little bit, but you'll feel it run rough. So let's take a look at the results and see how we did. Grab your barf bags because I'm going out of the tripod. So we've got 110, 120, 119, and 121. What's interesting is the ones that we got, see, these are all good and that's even. This one's really low, and that is one of the ones that was showing lean. And of course it's going to not affect what the compression is. It will affect what the performance is if it's both lean and low on compression. So we're going to do a little policing and see if we can find, but overall that's a really low reading. We're going to do this one more time, and I'll hold it down and we'll try and see if I get the same result with my lean that Spanky got, just to be sure. But that is too low. That's enough to run and be, you know, somewhat gutless of an engine, loss of performance and power, but it'll also cause it to not run very clean. So guess what just came in the mail? I just got a package from Quebec. He just sent that in. So he was the one that got the power probe from before. So we're going to open it up and see what it is. I have no idea. He said that he put a bunch of fun stuff in there, so I'm really excited. hopefully it's appropriate to be on camera. Knowing Curtis, it probably is okay. So, holy crap, he hooked me up with all kinds of cool stuff. So I got a camo hat with a light. He knows that I bow hunt. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Dude, he totally hooked me up. I got a Bulldog shirt, Waterloo, that's his hometown. Awesome. What makes you think I'm gonna wear a hoodie? It's gonna like constantly wearing ice. That is so thoughtful. That is awesome. And I got a serious collection. I got an entire collection, it looks like, of the hot rod series, the muscle machines. That's awesome. He knows that I collect. I'll wind up doing a review video on this too. That's awesome. Thank you. Dude, the guy hooked me up. Look at this. That's awesome. And then I also got a collection of the Hot Wheels. Looks like I've got a Bentley 68 Camaro, a Corvette, and a Porsche 911 GT2, and a Mazda RX-7. On my other channel, The Ski Viking, I do a bunch of reviews on different Matchbox cars. If you look up here, you can see that I have a collection going. I love like just any little miniature stuff. I always have. So awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was from Curtis from Illinois. So thank you. I appreciate the love. I'm feeling it. And there's a shout out. You can check out Curtis's channel, Quebec, in the description below. So we have kind of a thing going on here. When we did the first round of testing, it was 110, 120, 119, and 121. And then when I went through to double check it, it was 118. So this is the significance right here, because the minimum okay PSI or compression rating is 114 PSI. And so this is failing, this is not failing. So we're going to go round 3 on cylinder number 4. The rest of these are all okay. The other thing is that the variance, or like it has to be within a certain percentage, I said. You have to have less than 14 PSI variance between your highest, which happens to be cylinder number 1, and your lowest. So our variance looks like it's okay no matter how you shake it, but it looks like our minimum might be affected. So we're going to do a round 3 real quick. Alright, battle stations. Go ahead. Getting up there. I got 120 on that one. Go ahead. Yeah, we're good. Got 120 again. So compression passes. It's not awesome, but like I say, it's just good enough. It's good enough. Good enough for love. Yeah. Spank, you're not going to join in and sing?
No.
No. Just slow head shake, that's all. I don't blame you. Alright, so everything else is passing. It looks like we've got some vacuum leaks. We've got some air fuel metering problems. And perhaps that's all that we've got. We've got to check the timing. We're going to pull this upper timing cover. We're going to set the harmonic balancer using the timing marks down here at TDC. And we're going to check our cams and just see if our cams are okay as well. Okay, so we're lifting the engine up. We're going to check the timing because a lot of everything else is checking out. And the spark plug gap, that's one thing that we didn't really check or mention as far as ignition is concerned, because we want to make sure you have a good complete burn. You got to have a good gap. This vehicle requires the gap to be between 28 thousandths of an inch and 32 thousandths of an inch. As I measure it here, we're only getting it like 26, so that's a little small. Between 28 and 32 is 30, so I'm going to go ahead and work that to 30 on all of them. And that could improve and help, but I still think it's going to be a vacuum issue, an air fuel mixture issue, maybe even a blocked injector. But we're going to go through and be thorough and check timing.
Okay, so what we have here is we painted the cam marks. There's 4, and there's 2 on each cam. Other one you can't really see as well. But anyway, we marked them, and then we lined them up, and then we turned the crank one full turn, which turns these half a turn, and they lined up again, and the PDC line, whoop, there it is, lined up perfectly. You can see this little green with a space in it, and then the line coming down, and it lined up really nice. So the timing is not an issue, the timing is perfect.
So we put a bunch of barrettes in the hair of the spark plug wires. Not that it's going to matter because it all goes down into that tangled mess anyway. But we're going to get out the timing light and check it, but this one has distributorless ignition. It just has two individual coils down there that the wires plug into directly. So our timing's good, and as we look back over our findings, our air fuel mixture was in question. We fixed this vacuum hose right there. We're going to check for other vacuum leaks, but as far as compression goes, the compression's good enough, the spark's good enough. We did increase the spark plug gap, and that may make all the difference on this. But timing, question mark, no question about it, the timing's on. So we're going to button it up, and we're going to listen for vacuum leaks and see if we can find any that way. We're also going to get out the stethoscope and listen to the injectors and see if it sounds like they're sticking or if we have a good clicking. So this Galant is the dual overhead cam turbo VR-4. It's like one of 3,000 that were imported to the US, and it needs paint and it needs some love. As we've been going through this, we've gone down the list and we've verified that the ignition is fine. It's failing safety or emissions inspection. It's got too many hydrocarbons, raw unburned fuel. We did the compression test and we showed that the compression's barely good enough, should be alright. We fixed one vacuum leak. You can see the FogStorm fog machine. We're about to get going with that, and we did a little testing with the stethoscope, and we found that the injector on number 2 is not putting out proper. It doesn't sound right. But basically what you want is a good, clean, crisp sewing machine sound from the injector, and we're getting just kind of a sluggish, dull noise from cylinder number 2 injector. So we found that, and then we also went to get codes from the computer. Enter computer. This is after it's out of the box. These are located down on most Hondas and Mitsubishis of this era. They're just down on the kick panel on the passenger side. So I pulled it out, and you look at it and it looks kind of okay, but upon real close inspection you can see that tower resistor there. That's got a bunch of melted plastic at the base of it, and when you turn the thing over you can see some carnage, you know, from where the pins are on this side. And then also the ones that get hot are the pins that connect here, all of this row. You can see those two that are right in the middle right there. They're not as shiny as the rest of the other ones. We'll go in the sun and see if you can see that. But where the shine is gone is because they've been heated up, and then you have a cold solder joint and you get a bullseye fracture, just like on those Honda main relays. That's a really common thing. So we're going to go through and resolder these. You can see in the middle of the frame there's a bunch of burn marks and a bunch of splatter, and then there's some more right here. So this thing, it's not making good contact. When you look at the tops of these are not blown out. They're actually okay. They're just not getting good communication. It's making this thing run terrible. So we're going to go ahead and remanufacture the computer by resoldering those joints. We've got some new injectors that are coming. We want a set match of 4. I'm real picky about that, especially where it's an emissions non-aspirated vehicle. You know, in an emissions area, I should say. So what Spanky's done, we're going to check for vacuum leaks because this is so old. There's all these rubber hoses, and it's, you know, it's a 1991 for crying out loud. So we're going to, and we got the turbo down here. We got all of these areas that are a potential for vacuum leaks that we want to fog it. So we've got all of our adapters that we've made from jar lids and everything. That's where the intake was, where the mass airflow sensor was. And we're going to start pumping it full of smoke and find if there's any other vacuum leaks. There was no other vacuum leaks. What do you do? So anyway, we got the computer sorted out. We just need to get some injectors. It's a little tricky to get injectors for this car, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video short at this point. We're going to need to get an injector for number 2 cylinder, and then also probably wind up replacing that computer. It's had some pretty rough carnage to it, though I did go through and resolder and re-wet some spots on it. is still missing pretty hard. So we'll do the injector first. If that doesn't take care of it, we'll begin our quest to find a computer. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. Click the like button if you liked it. And thanks for watching. I'd love to have you along. Cheers.